Have you ever thought about the true story behind Godric Gryffindor? What if the legendary founder of Hogwarts wasn't as flawless as many believe? In today's video, you'll uncover the secrets of his past, the conflicts that shaped him, and the legacy he left behind. Godric Gryffindor was one of the 4 great wizards who built Hogwarts. His name became a symbol of courage, and his house was home to some of the bravest students, including the heroes of the Harry Potter saga. But who was he before Hogwarts? What made him so extraordinary? Born in a small village in 10th century England, young Godric grew up among both wizards and muggles. His home, later known as Godric's Hollow, was a rare place where magic and non-magic coexisted in peace. From childhood, he displayed an incredible talent for dueling, quickly earning a reputation as the greatest duelist of his time. And here's something unusual. He didn't just duel wizards, he also fought muggles. Unlike many wizards, Godric never used magic against non-magical opponents. Instead, he wielded a sword with unmatched skill, proving that true bravery wasn't just about spells. His fearless nature made him legendary, but also hot-tempered and quick to challenge others. He wasn't a passive leader, he was a warrior. When he founded Hogwarts alongside Salazar Slytherin, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Helga Hufflepuff, they shared a dream to create a school where young witches and wizards could learn magic. But that dream soon turned into a battle of ideals. Salazar believed that only pure-blood wizards deserved to be taught. Godric, raised alongside muggles, thought differently. He insisted that talent mattered more than blood. Their friendship cracked, and when the conflict reached its peak, Salazar left the school for good. Yet his influence remained, shaping the House of Slytherin for centuries to come. As for Godric, his story fades into mystery. No records tell us how or when he died. But his legacy lives on. He enchanted his own hat, turning it into the sorting hat that still assigns students to their houses. And then there's the legendary Sword of Gryffindor, forged by goblins and enchanted to appear only in the hands of those who truly embody his values. But there's one final mystery. Unlike Slytherin, whose bloodline continued, Gryffindor's descendants remain unknown. Did he choose not to have a family? Or was his lineage lost to history? Perhaps the bravest wizard of his age left behind more than just a sword and a school. Perhaps his greatest legacy is still hidden, waiting to be discovered. Legends often tell stories of heroes, but they rarely reveal their struggles. Godric Gryffindor wasn't just a fearless warrior or a noble founder. He was a man of contradictions, a wizard whose ideals sometimes put him at odds with the very world he tried to shape. His belief in bravery was unshakable, yet some questioned whether his courage bordered on recklessness. His loyalty to his friends was legendary, but what happened when friendship turned to rivalry? After Slytherin left Hogwarts, the school stood on uncertain ground. Divisions had been sown, and for the first time, students weren't just sorted into houses, they were separated by something deeper. Some whispered that Gryffindor's vision was too idealistic, that he underestimated the bitterness that lingered in the wake of Salazar's departure. Others believed he had won the battle for Hogwarts, ensuring it would always welcome Muggle-borns. But was it a victory? Or had he merely set the stage for a conflict that would last centuries? Despite the tensions, Godric threw himself into teaching. He wasn't the kind of professor who simply lectured. He trained his students like warriors, preparing them for a world that was often hostile to their kind. Under his guidance, young witches and wizards learned not just spells but strategy. He believed that true strength came not only from magic, but from the ability to stand one's ground, even in the face of overwhelming odds. He taught them to duel, to defend themselves, and to never let fear dictate their choices. But not all of his lessons were welcomed. Some of the school's elders feared that he was encouraging conflict, that his students would leave Hogwarts more willing to fight than to seek peace. Rowena Ravenclaw, the wisest among the founders, warned him that war and wisdom rarely walked the same path. Yet Gryffindor remained firm. In a world where magical persecution was growing, he believed wizards had to be ready for anything. Over the years, his name became synonymous with courage, yet few knew the burden he carried. He never spoke of it, but some claimed that he was haunted by the loss of his closest friend. He and Salazar had once dreamed of building something great together, only to become symbols of opposing ideals. Did he ever regret their feud? Did he ever wonder if there had been another way? Some say that as he grew older, he spent more time away from Hogwarts, traveling the land, seeking out young magical talents in villages where they hid their gifts in fear. He was known to ride alone, his sword at his side, watching over those who had no one else to protect them. There are stories of him standing against dark sorcerers, of him shielding Muggle-born children from those who saw them as abominations. There are even whispers that he saved an entire town from a band of rogue warlocks armed with nothing but his wand and an unbreakable will. And yet, despite all his victories, the world he fought for was far from perfect. Even within Hogwarts, tensions remained. The students of Slytherin House carried on their founder's ideals, though not all of them agreed with his extreme views. Still, the rivalry between Gryffindor and Slytherin became legend, a fire that never quite burned out. As the years passed, some began to wonder why Gryffindor never had a family. Unlike Helga Hufflepuff, who was known for her large and loving household, or Rowena, whose daughter would later leave behind a tragic legacy, Godric seemed to stand alone. There are no records of a wife, no tales of children carrying on his bloodline. Perhaps he believed his students were the only legacy he needed, or perhaps he feared what a family might cost him. Then one day he was gone. No grand battle, no known tomb, no account of his final days. Some say he left Hogwarts on a mission and never returned. Others believe he simply walked away knowing his time had passed. There are stories of a warrior with fiery hair seen in distant lands, of a man who resembled the great Godric Gryffindor, still carrying his sword, still fighting for those who could not fight for themselves. But there is no proof, only whispers carried by the wind. What remains is his legend, his ideals, and the mark he left on Hogwarts. The sorting hat still sings of his bravery. The sword still appears in times of great need, as if answering the call of those who share his spirit. His house continues to stand for courage, daring, and determination. But the unanswered questions linger. Did he ever make peace with Slytherin? Did he regret the path he chose? And most of all, did he truly disappear? Or is his story still unfinished, waiting to be rediscovered by those bold enough to seek the truth?